All right, so let's bring them out. First, let's go with Mimi Valdez, the producer of the film. And then, oh, they're coming out. We have Quincy Brown, who plays Jaleel. Chanel Iman, who plays Lily. Blake Anderson, who plays Will. Kiersey Clemons, who plays Diggy. Tony Revolori, who plays Jib. And we got Cap G, who plays both Fidel and features on the soundtrack. So let's start it off, guys. Let's start with Mimi down at the end. I mean, music plays a very, very large role in this film, and it really is a love letter to 90s hip hop in a lot of ways. But I was wondering if you could talk just about the role of music and how it really does like shape the entire tone of the film. It gives it the groove.
Totally. The music is definitely another character in the film. Rick, the writer-director, he loved 90s hip-hop and wanted to infuse it in the film. And you think about the 90s and it just being such a great era for music, not just hip-hop, but grunge, like so much great music, and there was so much diversity. So I think Rick liked the idea of having that juxtaposition of what that 90s music represented in terms of just being so different and so many different unique voices and infusing it into the film with these characters.
Right, and Cap, you perform a song on the soundtrack, right? Let's talk about that. It's Cocaine Shawty, I believe is the title.
Yeah, Cocaine and Shawty.
Yeah, that's right. So how did that kind of vibe with just the film itself? Was it inspired by?
Yeah, it was. If you see my scene, it's like gritty. You know, I'm a tough guy. I got the tats, so it really represents that Cocaine and Shawty. You know.
And I mean, you guys. I mean, you know, with Tony and Kiersey, you guys feature in a band in the film, Oreo.
Yeah. And
you get to perform 4 new songs by Pharrell. But I mean, what was it like? Just did you have band practice? I mean, were you actually performing some of those songs as far as?
Call it that?
Well, I mean, we kind of just went in and did it in the studio with Pharrell. We didn't really have practice. Well, I don't know about you.
I had to practice my drums.
Her drumming skills.
Like, other than that, we heard the songs when we got there, and he kind of added lyrics and switched up the track and everything, and it was like a collaborative effort. It was really cool.
Was he wearing the hat in the studio when you were?
Yes. It was one of them. He has like what, 2 or something?
Yeah, he did, but like he also took it off at one point.
And I put it on.
And she put it on.
Did it fit?
He didn't have it the whole time.
I had to wear the hat.
His hats fit everyone. They like shrink and grow at the same time. It's amazing.
It just customizes to the head.
Yeah.
Customizes to the head.
Blake, I mean, with you,
Yes.
so they come in contact with Will.
Yes.
Because they need to move a very large amount of ecstasy.
I got pushed that weight.
Wally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is called Lily, but we'll get to that later. Through a bizarre series of circumstances, it gets called Lily. But, you know, I mean, have you ever dabbled in the deep web? Did you do any research as far as, because they have to, the thing is you have this black market operation that you set up where, you know, they pay through Bitcoins and that sort of thing. And I don't think a lot of people are familiar with that.
No, I've never sold drugs online.
On the Silk Road?
I may have accidentally sold drugs in person once or twice. But yeah, as far as the black market goes, I'm not too familiar with it, but it is a deep web for sure. Yeah.
Right. And Chanel, I mean, there's an insane scene that basically sets off a lot of the action in this film as far as the Lily goes and how the drug gets its name. But I'm curious what it was like to shoot. So what happens is basically you accidentally snort a ton of the stuff. Not accidentally. You snort a ton of the stuff, but you don't know how potent it is. And then you basically end up outside of a Starbucks peeing, and it goes viral. And then the drug gets called Lily. But I mean, what was it like? That is the most insane scene, I think, in the film. What was it like to shoot that sequence?
There's a lot of insane scenes in the film, and my character, she's crazy, wild, all over the place, and it's a really edgy role that I played, and you know, he's the one that gave it to me.
I'm sorry.
But it was actually really fun to do a lot of the things that I've never done in my life, and run across the street and piss. And there was a throw up scene. There's all different crazy stuff that I'm doing in the film, and I you know, a lot of people are used to seeing me like put together, so this was a great part for me to play a raw role.
And I mean, Quincy, you too, you're involved in a lot of the Lily scenes as well. I mean, and your character is kind of a ridiculous caricature of just like an Angelino hip hop head. How did you find that character? You know, is he based on someone you know? Or?
Yeah, to really tap into my character of Jaleel, I know a lot of people. First of all, his whole mentality and his demeanor and everything, it's almost like he was doing too much. He was trying to be too gangster and he wasn't, and it was forced, you know. And I kind of know some people like that in real life, and I also know some real gangsters in real life. So I just got to mesh the two, you know what I mean, and like find that little line in between it, you know. And that's definitely Jaleel all the way.
He's kind of like Malibu's Most Wanted.
Exactly.
A little bit.
Yeah, he's just black. You know.
But he is black.
So let's throw to a clip, one of the first clips in the film, and check it out right here. So you probably recognize that voice that was narrating that clip. That's Forrest Whitaker, who's a producer on the film, and he also narrates the film as well. And that was Zoe Kravitz, who plays Nakia, who's the I guess the apple, or in that scene, I guess apple bottom of Malcolm's eye. So, I mean, we also heard some Naughty by Nature in that as well. I mean, for you guys, are you guys, you know, Tony and Kiersey, are you guys into 90s hip hop at all, or is this kind of an education for you, so to speak?
I think I learned more. I think I learned more so like about other genres rather than just hip hop, because these kids like, what is it, like punk rock, all that stuff. So
it's a lot of like thermals and corn and TV on radio. So I mean, we see a lot of 90s music, but when we were kind of getting ready to shoot this, Rick, our director, gave us a lot of CDs with music, and it would be, you know, a lot of bands, punk, 90s hip hop. So it was a huge collection.
What rappers were on the mixtapes that Rick gave you?
I didn't really like listen to the rappers, to be honest, because I mean, like, we already know them. So I was like, I got into Korn.
Oh, really?
She's massively into Korn now.
I was like, oh, Korn's really cool. So I listened to like a lot of like, I wanted to like headbang and stuff like that, you know.
Good for you.
Does he still perform in the Kilt? I don't know, but he
I
used
think
to perform.
so.
He used to perform that. So I mean, Blake too. You know, what was it like to get? How many times were you slapped by Kiersey during the making of this film?
37? That's what I counted.
Too many, for sure. I think it's the first slap in the movie, but the second slap we actually filmed when we're kind of at camp. It's like a flashback, and Kiersey's kind of like slapping me from the back, and yeah, we took that several times, up to the point where like you get this natural instinct. I couldn't even help it. I was like actually starting to get very pissed.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So Kiersey, did you go full throttle on those?
Well,
or?
that was the reason we had to do it a bunch of times, because I didn't want to like I respect you as a man.
Well,
like I didn't
you.
want to slap you, and
That's
so,
the first time I've ever heard that. Thank you.
And so I was kind of like doing it like half-ass,
Yeah.
and he was like, "You need to really hit me."
Hit
We're just like we're like
Get this over
wasting
with.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I went for it. Like,
did.
the last couple takes. Yeah.
I think you got a sense of it from the trailer, but Blake's character has a penchant for saying the N-word a lot.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
and it earns him some well-deserved slaps throughout the film from Kiersey's character.
Yeah.
So Chanel, I mean, you know, as far as getting into Lily and tapping into that, you know, could you just describe what her vibe is? Because she is kind of the seductress when you first come in and meet her, but then you have to just completely go off on like a crash course of insanity. So how was it just managing Lily? You know, managing that transition from like cool seductress in the beginning to completely insane person.
Well, Lily has a lot of levels to her character, and you know, in the beginning, she's very sexy, and you know, she's just she's all into Malcolm and wants to get to know him, and then she's, you know, she's very flirty, and then she just, I don't know, just something hits her where it's just like she just snaps and she just has this split personality and just wiles out, and you guys will see, you guys will laugh. And I just kind of went online and did a little research and kind of, I guess, saw what it was like to be on her level of, you know,
Recreational
high.
lightness.
That's right,
You know,
because
I-
Chanel does no drugs or
Right.
alcohol.
Yeah, no.
She's like such a good girl. So when you guys see the film, you'll be really surprised because she really dove into it. It's her first role, first movie role ever. Very proud of her.
Yeah.
Now, A$AP Rocky plays Dom, who's the big drug dealer, the nefarious drug dealer in the film. Who it's all his ecstasy basically. But does anyone have any good A$AP stories on the panel? I mean, as far as
With your sister.
I have one that's probably very boring but very impressive. It was also his first role. He had never been in a movie before, and he was so just like excited about it and did whatever it was that he needed to do. He'd come to the set early. He was always like talking.
Are you
with
sure?
Someday.
Or maybe
about
the day that maybe there was one day I didn't realize. Because you used to bring him, right? You were driving him to set to make sure?
No, I didn't do all that. I just made sure everything was okay.
It felt like everything I felt like anytime we needed him, he was there. We weren't, searching for him, I guess.
No, he was definitely very professional, which I thought. Also, there was one point in the club scene where he tripped. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
There was an extra who messed up and didn't run in the right direction, and she tripped A$AP, and he cut his knee.
Yeah.
He handled it like a
pro.
like a G. He hid that anger really good.
Yeah, I know the first time I got to meet A$AP was at Sundance, and it's always kind of a roll of the dice when you're meeting a rapper. You're not sure what they're gonna be like, but that's Flacco. You don't want to mess with him,
No.
But he was actually a really, really chill, cool dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was running lines with me, like, because I really wanted to do this, and I was, I just read the script, I fell in love with it, and I saw there was a character that acted a little similar to him, so we both went on the audition, and we killed it. We both got a call that we were in the movie together, so it was awesome.
Cool. Yeah. No? Yes? There we go. Let's give it for it. There we go.
So let's go to another clip. This one is about Blake's character, Will.
That's the slap.
That's not
was
entirely true. He does use it more times
Right.
I do.
in the film.
In the film.
So I gotta ask, what were you guys using for the drugs? I'm always curious what they used for the drugs in the movie. What were you guys actually...
Baking powder.
Wait, what did you? Because you were the one that really what were you guys
You're the one who
sorting?
actually touched
I think
it.
it was just baking
At first,
powder.
it was like some type of salt or something, and I thought it was like a prop. So I like lick it and like put it in my nose and everything, and my throat closed for a while. So they had to get the set powder, and it doesn't do anything. But I was having a moment on set, just breathing. So I had the wrong stuff.
What about the tabs too? Like what are they even giving you? Just like candy, or what are they making you like?
Nerds.
A lot of times it's like sugar pills or something like that. I'm addicted to those. So
Why do you think he's so energetic?
You're right. That's true. So you guys really jammed on this film. It was shot in, I believe, 25 days.
24.
24 days. 24 days.
Wow.
That's, I know. That,
One less day, guys.
Yeah, I know. So just a little over 3 weeks, basically. What were kind of the hardest scenes for you guys to shoot? Let's go with, Tony and Kiersey on this one.
The hardest, I think, when we were outside on the bikes and it was 104 degrees outside.
Yeah.
That was pretty sweaty and difficult. But also the last day of shooting, we shot one of the most intense scenes in the movie, and I was already I'm a baby, so I already wanted to cry because it was our last day.
Okay.
So it got really dramatic for me. But I think those two.
No, yeah. It was hot on set, and I actually fainted from heat exhaustion at one point.
Really?
Yeah. Because our costume designer put me in 7 layers of leather, and I just flopped. Or shooting in the school was difficult too, because school was actually active while we were doing it. So it was actually really funny. We couldn't actually say what we were shooting because it's a school, and we couldn't say we're shooting dope, because, well, that doesn't sound right. So we had to they gave us this memo to call it Oreo, but I just kept saying we were shooting Hancock too. It's pretty funny.
Too. so school's still going on, and you have a backpack with a bunch of fake ecstasy and a fake gun
Yeah.
inside of the school, and you're shooting it.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And nobody said anything.
What's
No-
the
nobody's-
problem?
It's America.
Yeah, exactly. Public education, you know.
We just told them that Jennifer Lawrence and Tom Cruise were coming in. They were fine with it.
I mean, what about, did you guys kind of have, Tony and Kiersey, I mean, and with Malcolm, did you guys have like bonding rituals or something to...
Rituals?
Yeah, I don't even know. Maybe
Like
not
we'd
rituals. but
We
sacrifice
would
the
pray
chicken?
over each other, yeah.
Like hang time before to like, because you guys really do give the semblance of lifelong friends in this film, which isn't the easiest thing to do. So
Yeah, I mean, we all kind of connected off the bat. Like, I knew Shameik through mutual friends, sort of, already. So when I saw him on audition, I was like, oh, hey, what's up? I gave him a ride home after our audition together. I didn't know who he was.
She didn't care who I was.
He's a hitchhiker. And we would just hang out. When we booked it, we would just all hang out, like, in my apartment. And
Which was like across the street from the production office.
yeah.
With your devil dog.
My dog attacked him, literally attacked him, like bit him, tried to eat him up into a bunch of little
And it's like a
pieces.
tiny little chihuahua. I'm scared of dogs.
it's like that scene in
Okay.
Something About Mary or something.
Yes, exactly
Yeah.
like that. Jaw locked, yeah.
Well, wasn't that a ferret though? Sorry, off point.
Yeah, okay. So I think we have one more clip to show you guys. We're gonna throw to that right now. It's a good one.
Oh, that's CGI. I know, right?
Okay, so I think we're gonna open it up to audience questions right now. So
Hi, everybody.
Hola.
Hey.
Awesome cast. Awesome. I'm Jossie.
How you doing?
I had
you
a question
doing?
for Blake Anderson. Hello, Blake. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well.
I love
thank you.
Workaholics. Round of applause for Workaholics, real quick. All right, yeah. I was particularly interested in the fact that, your character had to use the N-word, and you are Caucasian.
I am.
Yeah.
You
but
noticed.
what were your thoughts on that role? I know as an actor you have to be professional, but how was that experience for you?
Yeah. As an actor, I'm down to do what's written on the page. It wasn't like, yes, finally. I've been waiting for this moment. But no, I'm not personally a fan of using the word in my own personal life.
Right.
But I think it is a subject that needs to be addressed as well, because I know there are people who are frustrated by the fact that they can't say, because it isn't coming from a malicious place. I don't know if it's my spot or, Chet Hank's spot to discuss that or make up that decision of what is right or wrong, but it's
But as an
definitely
actor,
something that can
you
be...
have to, play that role and start in the conversation. So
Yeah.
it's a vulnerable role for you, definitely. I want to commend you. Thank you.
Thanks.
That's
As long
a
as I'm not
big-
getting like
big
slapped,
job, but,
slapped on the streets or whatever, I'm cool. Yeah. Well,
All right.
Thanks.
Hi guys, my name's Augustus, and I guess this is targeted towards Chanel, Blake, and Tony in specific, but it's just such an eclectic cast, especially with ASAP, Chanel. This is your first time working in a movie. Blake, from working with Adam and Durs, and then with working with Wes Anderson. What was it like? Just every day, any funny stories? Just what was that like for you guys?
You want to go down this way? You want to start it?
Well, it was long hours on set. I'm used to like 9 to 5 being on set as a fashion model, so it was really exhausting for me. But I was lucky enough to be working with a great cast where we all had a great special bond, and we made the best out of our time, and we enjoyed each other's company. So it was pretty easy and fun. It didn't even feel like we were at work, because the director really allowed us to be creative on set and let us do our own thing, and we had a good chemistry, all of us.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true, and I think it speaks a lot. Most of my scenes, I was lucky to do some really fun scenes with Chanel.
What did you do? Tell them.
What did you guys
Girl,
do?
you know what we did. But just Kiersey, Tony, Shameik, there's such a good energy on set, and they really just welcome you, So it was easy to play along with them on set, because they're just, they're pros. They're good at their jobs, so
We try to be.
yeah.
We try to be. Oh, right. For me, I mean, it was really fun on set. It was a lot different from what I had done before, but that's not to say it was bad. It was just a completely new experience, and I had a lot of fun. Coming from a movie where I couldn't improvise a single line, where basically half my lines are completely improvised. It was really a lot of fun, and I got to like flex some muscles I haven't, so now I'm sore.
Thanks, guys. It looks really great. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
How you guys doing?
What's up?
Hi.
My name's Christian, and my question's for Quincy, actually. Yo, you did a phenomenal job in Brotherly Love, by the way.
Thank you.
Great job. How do you feel about taking on this lighter role right now in Dope when your role in Brotherly Love was darker? How do you...
Right,
How the transition, yeah.
Definitely, black and white roles, you know,
Yeah.
since Brotherly Love was straight, undercover, like, smooth guy, but, really a devil in the end. Oops, I just told a movie.
What? No, come on, that wasn't my
I think
cue.
being able to explore with, Jalil, it was a lot of, like, it was a lot of improvisation, but then again, I had to, like, stay true. It's like almost like I had to do too much without doing too much, because that's who he was. I was like, how do you do too much and make it believable instead of looking like you just acting a fool? And, I think it was just, I took my time with everything. I didn't rush anything. I didn't, I really listened to my characters, a lot of talking and listening, because a lot of the conversations you see between us, it literally was like back and forth, and that's how I went on set. It wasn't like, set up that way to where it's like it had to be cut, that way. We were actually having conversation. She's saying something, and now, this person's saying something, and I'm looking back and forth, and So it was like real, it was just real conversation. I kind of like found that true place, to who I am, and then just applied those little extra, attributes to, be a little extra.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Dope. Yeah.
How's it going, everybody? Thank you all for coming. This movie looks dope. I got a question for all you guys to answer. Dope is one of my favorite words to use. I know it's slang, but it's part of my everyday vernacular. It's a very positive word. I want to know if we go down the line and just what your favorite word is, whether it's a slang term or just a word that you use all the time, that when someone hears that word, they think of you.
My favorite word is dope.
Dope.
So is mine.
Oh gosh. I had to think. You say.
What's your?
I would probably say dude. I say dude a lot.
Bro? You say bro a lot too.
Bro, dude.
Bro, dude. See, I would say rad. Rad is my thing. I know it's weird, but that rad.
I don't know.
She says she doesn't know. That's her word.
I don't know. I feel like it's not appropriate to say, like...
No, say it.
Probably like the F word or bitch or something.
Me being from Atlanta, I say coolin'. I just be coolin'. Coolin'.
Ooh,
I wish that was mine.
Right.
That one's cool.
it's pretty rad.
Peace, how y'all doing? I'm Art.
Hi.
So my question is for Miss Chanel, since this is your first movie. What was your biggest challenge in playing this role?
At first, it was, I think, being nude, but then I realized that I've done topless shots, like, since I was 18, and I had to be comfortable with myself and my body, and I just never seen myself topless, like, in film. So I think that was challenging for me to, like, be comfortable with being on set with the crew and just, like, not overthinking and going for it. Yeah. Somebody's got to play Lily.
Hello, my name is Andre. I have a question for Mimi. How do you go about casting new talent? Like just fresh, never seen you before, but you're interested.
It's a great question. So we had an amazing casting director, but going into this, Rick and all of us, all the filmmakers, we definitely wanted the spirit of the cast. We wanted young actors. I think for Malcolm, we went back and forth a lot about whether or not it was going to be someone known or not. And I think in the end, we all just were like, you know what, we want to bring some fresh faces. I mean, some of them have acted before, but Cap had never acted before as well. And his scene, when you see him, is such an emotional scene. It's totally opposite from who he is as a person. But I think all of us, Pharrell as well, like we were all really excited about just finding a cast that could really represent the energy and the spirit of the film. And they all did an amazing job.
And
all of them.
I wanted to know, did an agent like send you to him, or you just like found them on YouTube or something? Like how
Well,
does that?
no, our casting, a bunch of auditions. I mean, Rocky put himself on tape, sent it to us. Pharrell really wanted Cap G to be in it, so he auditioned, killed his audition. But yeah, it was a combination of different, people reaching out to our casting director and sort of putting the word out. But it was done on, just so that you know, we did this independently. We raised the money for this film. If this film would have went through the Hollywood system, a Hollywood studio, they probably would not have let us cast any of these actors that you,
that's what I was
maybe
going to
with the
say.
exception of, Blake over here, but for the most part, and Zoe, but, but because, they were, Blake has a really big following, but again, that's usually how the movie studios will cast, like, okay. But to us, most people, I think, looked at this cast going into Sundance being like, oh, there's no stars in that film. And all of us were laughing because we were like, all right, wait until you see, because they all are stars.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Armani. How are you guys? My question's for Kiersey. You have amazing style. My
Thanks.
question for you is, how did you feel about your new wardrobe in the movie?
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was really cool. Aside from today, normally I'm really like lazy, and my sister's over there. She's really fashionable. I'm wearing her shoes. She's the one that makes me like look cute when I come up here.
Isn't it your sister's birthday today?
It is my sister's birthday. Will you guys
Can
say
you say
happy birthday to my sister? Happy birthday! I love you, bitch. It was cool. It was kind of like Patrick, our costume designer. He wanted to go for like an Aaliyah vibe. He didn't want to make her like too butch and stereotypical. And I wanted to like wear caps and like, cause we couldn't shave my head completely, so we did like a mohawk and a lineup and like covered it, and it was fun. It was cool. I like only had like 10 minutes in hair and makeup like the guys, so I was down with it.
Boo.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Boo.
All right, thanks for coming, everybody, and make sure to go see Dope June 19th. It's an amazing film, really one of the best. Blake, with you,
Yes.
so they come in contact with Will.
Yes.
Because they need to move a very large amount of ecstasy.
I got to push that weight.
Yeah. Which
Boy,
is called
dope.
Lily, but we'll get to that later. Through a bizarre series of circumstances, it gets called Lily. Have you ever dabbled in the deep web? Did you do any research as far as, because they have to, the thing is you have this black market operation that you set up where, they pay through Bitcoins and that sort of thing. And I don't think a lot of people are familiar with that.
No, I've never sold drugs online.
On the Silk Road?
I may have accidentally sold drugs in person once or twice. But
Right.
yeah, as far as the black market goes, I'm not too familiar with it, but it is a deep web for sure. Yeah.
Right. And Chanel, with Tony and Kiersey, you guys feature in a band in the film, Oreo.
Yeah.
And you get to perform 4 new songs by Pharrell. What was it like? Just did you have band practice? Were you actually performing some of those songs as far as?
Call it that?
We kind of just went in and did it in the studio with Pharrell. We didn't really have practice. Well, I don't know about you.
I had to practice my drums.
Her
but
drumming skills.
Like other than that, we heard the songs when we got there, and
Yeah.
he kind of added lyrics and switched up the track and everything, and it was like a collaborative effort. It was really cool.
Was he wearing the hat in the studio when you were?
Yes. It was one of them. He has like
No,
1, 2 or something.
he did, but like he also took it off.
Yeah, he took it
And I
off.
put it on.
And she put it on.
Did it
He
fit?
didn't have it the whole time.
I had
Well,
to
no,
wear the hat.
his hats fit everyone. They like shrink and grow at the same time. It's amazing.
It just customizes to the head.
Yeah.
Customizes to that.
All right, so let's bring them out. First, let's go with Mimi Valdez, the producer of the film. And then, they're coming out. We have Quincy Brown, who plays Jaleel. Chanel Iman, who plays Lily. Blake Anderson, who plays Will. Kiersey Clemons, who plays Diggy. Tony Revolori, who plays Jib. And we got Cap G, who plays both Fidel and features on the soundtrack. So let's start it off, guys. Let's start with Mimi down at the end. Music plays a very, very large role in this film, and it really is a love letter to 90s hip hop in a lot of ways. But I was wondering if you could talk just about the role of music and how it it really does like shape the entire tone of the film. It gives it the groove.
Totally. The music is definitely another character in the film.
There's an insane scene that basically sets off a lot of the action in this film as far as the lily goes and how the drug gets its name. But I'm curious what it was like to shoot. So what happens is basically you accidentally snort a ton of the stuff. Not accidentally. You snort a ton of the stuff, but you don't know how potent it is. And then you basically end up outside of a Starbucks peeing, and it goes viral. And then the drug gets called Lily. But I mean, what was it like? That is the most insane scene, I think, in the film. What was it like to shoot that sequence?
There's a lot of insane scenes in the film, and my character, she's crazy, wild, all over the place, and it's a really edgy role that I played, and you know.
Rick, the writer-director, he loved 90s hip-hop and wanted to infuse it in the film, and you think about the 90s and it just being such a great era for music, not just hip-hop, but grunge, like so much great music, and there was so much diversity. So I think Rick liked the idea of having that juxtaposition of what that 90s music represented in terms of just being so different and so many different unique voices, and infusing it into the film with these characters.
Right, and Cab, you perform a song on the soundtrack, right? Let's talk about that. It's Cocaine Shawty, I believe is the title.
Yeah, Cocaine and Shawty.
Yeah, that's right. So how did that kind of vibe with just the film itself? Was it inspired by?
Yeah, it was. If you see my scene, it's like gritty. You know, I'm a tough guy. I got the tats, so it really represents that Cocaine and Shawty. You know.
And I mean, you guys. I mean, you know.